Well, good morning. Welcome to Agape, where love lives, where love desires to get itself out there and become more and more prevalent in the world. We talk about love all the time at Agape, and our definition is the awareness and acceptance of our wholeness. And when we can embrace that, we can embrace the awareness and acceptance of the wholeness of another. And when we can embrace that, we can embrace the awareness and acceptance of the wholeness of life. But until you can embrace it within yourself, you can't see it anyplace else. Now keep in mind that love and like are very different. They're not the same thing. You can love someone, accept them, and not like them, and not give them a lot of time, but you accept them as they are. You see, the key thing to understanding when we're in love is when there's no judgment. If there's judgment, there's no love. Here at Agape, we teach the science of mind, and we practice Zen as well. It's a merger of the two. I believe that there's a oneness that the Buddha taught that is absolutely beautiful, and I believe that there's a power in creating the illusion we live in and experiencing life at the fullest degree. That's the science of mind. So today, before we start in today's talk, and I got a good one for you today, let's take a moment and get ourselves centered. So if you will, bring yourself to a comfortable seated upright position. Your back is straight, hands gently resting on your lap. Allow your eyes to gently close. And now, take a deep breath in. And as you release the breath, feel your body begin to relax. Again, take another deep, deep breath in. And as you release this one, release any stress or tension. One more time, breathe in love and clarity. And breathe out and allow yourself to center into this most perfect now. In this most beautiful state, realize there is no time. There's only now. The past does not exist. The future does not exist. Only now. This is the divine state. This is the God state. This is universal mind. Now. Everything else, the past, the future, are all illusions created by the preferences of the mind. But now is real. And in this moment, there's nothing bothering you unless you bring in thoughts of the past or fears of the future. There's nothing. Everything is working perfectly right now. This is the state of healing. This is the state of oneness. This is the ultimate state of love. So in this state, I invite you to open your mind. Open your mind to admit that you know very little. And that by knowing very little, you're open to receive new ideas and new information. Ideas and information that allow you to have an expanded, greater experience of life. So as you do that, know that the message that will be coming forth will be there to challenge you and open you to a greater and greater expression of you. Having set this intention to receive new ideas and information, start to bring yourself back. That's it. Take a deep breath in. And as you release, feel yourself back into your body, back into this time, back into this most beautiful moment. Today, I thought I'd talk about the long game of spiritual awakening. Why? Because transformation, it's not a miracle of chance. It's a deliberate choice made again and again to meet life with a conscious choice instead of an unconscious habit. What I've come to understand is people think, well, I'm going to take some mushrooms, I'm going to have a deeply spiritual experience. Well, they might. And then when they're off the mushrooms, where are they? They're back into the world of the ego. Well, we in the world, at least the world that I'm aware of, we expect instantaneous results. It's like if I meditate 3 hours one day and don't meditate for the rest of the week, I'm going to get a benefit. No, you're not. Transformation is something that is a process, moment by moment, day by day, continued on. You see, we've got to first, before we go really deep, we've got to address the illusion of instant change. Today's culture loves quick fixes. All of these videos, how to do this, how to do that in the least amount of time. However, transformation does not equal overall miracles. If you think about it like this, you've been alive as long as I have. You've had over 1.5 billion thoughts. Now picture those 1.5 billion thoughts as drops of blue water in a beacon. So there's 1.5 billion drops of blue water in a beacon. And that beacon radiates out an energy. And that energy is your preferences and how you see the world and what you attract back to you. But you don't want that blue perspective anymore. You want a green perspective. So the miracle happens every day you drop in yellow drops. Every day more yellow drops and more yellow drops. And after a while, the color starts to shift just a little bit. But you can't stop dropping in the yellow drops. You got to keep doing them day after day. And then eventually, over time, your beaker shifts to green. A doctor that I was talking with was sharing with me the idea that most illness that people have, I'm not talking about falling or something that's an accident, but most illness is the result of at least a decade. A decade of how you treat your body, how the tension and stress you're in. And so you're in that. You're in a situation, I don't care what it is. And you go to the doctor and you want to be fixed instantaneously. Well, the doctor doesn't fix you. The doctor gives you pills to help alleviate the symptoms. The healing happens within your body. Most importantly, it happens within your mind. And to have a healing happen, you have to relax the mind. You have to remove the stress so the body can go into the parasympathetic nervous system, and there it heals. And how does it heal? Over time. It's not instantaneous. You see, we've got to get over the illusion of instant change because most people start down the right path, and because it's not instantaneous, they quit. Real change equals consistent, conscious choice. Just like that, moment by moment. You see, let's look at nature. A seed cannot be rushed. Growth unfolds with constant nurturing over time. The seed gets nurturing soil. It gets water on a regular basis. It gets sunshine on a regular basis. And therefore it grows. You see, patience is a part of the process. And patience is necessary because life is eternally unfolding. You see, you don't get to the end. There is always more. That's why the now is infinite. There's always more. So time is your silent partner. Every thought you repeat builds a groove in your subconscious. So let's look at this in a way that you might visualize it. Let's pretend you're on the top of a hill and you have a bowling ball and you roll that bowling ball down the hill and that bowling ball says, I'm worthy of a job of $50,000 a year. And you roll it down, pretty soon there's a groove. And now you want to make $75,000 a year, but you've got a groove at 50. What you've got to do is you've got to create a whole new groove. You've got to go from the top of the hill. You've got to roll the ball down a different part of the hill over and over and over until you build a new groove. And then you say, well, now I want to make $100,000. Well, you've got to get out of that $75,000 and $50,000 grooves and build a whole new groove. You see what I mean? So you have to do thoughts. This is where affirmations come in. You have to really go and build the opposite of what you're experiencing. Habits formed over decades cannot be undone overnight. It takes time. And the beauty of it is you're not ready for something to change overnight. Think about the people who win the lottery, and a year later they've lost it all. Why? They didn't change their habit of seeing themselves as wealthy. And they went out and just blew all of the money, and they've got nothing left. You see, time provides space for practice, for failure, for learning, and for integration. Everything in your life that comes to you is causing you to question, how do I respond? You can respond from the old pattern, or you can respond from the new groove that you're creating. And by doing with time, you've got practice of sending that bowling ball down the new groove. Oh, sending the bowling ball back down the old groove. Oh, it didn't work. Learning from that and now integrating the new way. You see, a great example of this is learning meditation or building muscle or cultivating patience. They all require daily, consistent effort. And that effort compounds on itself and creates. So, commitment. We've got time, and now we've got commitment. And commitment is the fire that sustains you. Transformation, change, demands an unwavering commitment to your higher vision, even when progress seems invisible. You keep doing it no matter what. It's not about having a great meditation. It's about returning to the mat, returning to the chair, returning to the posture, returning to the silence every single day. One of the things that I've learned is that in order to have a great relationship with two people, there has to be a commitment to do forgiveness work every day, moment by moment, constantly forgiving yourself and forgiving the other person. And they have to have that same commitment to you. But it's not something you do once a week. It's every day. Because if you're forgiving the person, every night you sleep great. So when I go to bed at night and I'm lying next to my wife, I ask the question, is there anything that I have not forgiven about what I perceive she did? If there is, I do the forgiveness work right then. I see how I'm not responsible for what she does. She's entitled to be her way. I can accept that's the way she is. And then I sleep great. I don't hold it. I don't judge her from it. Commitment, though, it's not willpower. You can't force something to happen. Commitment is a devotion to your deepest intention. It's that commitment that regardless of what happens, I go to the gym 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I'm committed to it. Why? I believe that keeping my strength up allows me to experience life at a younger level. You see, every time we show up to meditate, to affirm or forgive, we're training our subconscious mind. We're programming our mind to do as we want it to do, instead of allowing the habits that we built unconsciously to control us. You see, without commitment, the old patterns reclaim control. It's like you plant a garden, you plant tomato plants. Every day you got to go out there. And guess what? The old patterns, they're the weeds that start to come up. You don't let them grow. They'll kill the tomato plant. You pull the weeds. You nourish the plant. It's the same thing with your thoughts. So what is the process of rewiring our subconscious? Subconscious programming is like an old operating system on a computer. It runs until you intentionally overwrite it. You don't have to uninstall, you overwrite it. New beliefs must be programmed through repetition, combined with emotion and the embodiment of it. It's not about saying, I'm abundant. No, I am abundant. And you embody that feeling, that's naturally. So it's repetition, followed by high elevated emotions, followed by the embodiment of that new visualization and that new emotional state. The tools you can use: affirmations, meditation, visualization, mindfulness, journaling, and very simply, conscious and deliberate action. I like to think of it: can you pause for a moment before doing anything and realize, what am I consciously choosing here? What am I consciously choosing to think? What am I consciously choosing to do? What am I consciously choosing to feel? If you started to just do that, asking those questions, wow, your life will transform in half the time of what it might otherwise. Transformation happens the moment you become the new self, not when you just think about it. So how do you live this path? You realize it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. See setbacks not as failures, but as feedback. If you fail, it means you went down the wrong groove. Now you just got to go down and find the right groove. Anchor into daily practice, breath, awareness, and action. I love, because for me, breath work represents meditation. Breath work represents conscious breathing. Breath work helps me become aware of my breath, the life-giving force. Breath work also means I'm taking action. I love the breath. Everything begins and ends with the breath. Without the breath, you would not be alive, and yet we undervalue it. I think the key thing to understand here is that transformation is not a destination. Transformation is a way of living, and that's a way that you get to choose. So, to help you on your journey, I've got some affirmations that I created, and you might want to consider doing them in sequence every day. Do them 20 times each. First one is, I choose conscious choice over unconscious habit. Second, time is my ally, and commitment fuels my transformation. And third, with every choice I make, I create the life I desire. So think about it in succession. I choose conscious choice over unconscious habit. In doing so, time is my ally, and my commitment fuels transformation. And with every choice I make, I create the life I desire. Think about how that flows and how powerful that is. Oh my God, it's incredible. You see, it would be great if we chose to come to the realization it's not about speed, it's not about perfection, it's not about getting there. It's about choosing, moment by moment, to step out of the unconscious habit and into conscious creation. And when you do that, you realize time is your ally, commitment is your fuel, and conscious choice is your power. The life that you dream of, it's not waiting somewhere in the future. It's being built right now with every choice you make. The key thing is, are you going to continue to make the right choices? The choices that will bring you the desired life that you want. Remember, you are the master. You're the master of your mind, your emotions, and your body. And when you understand that, you will commit, and you will just love what time does, and you'll enjoy every single moment. Time is on your side. The great analogy by the Rolling Stones. So with that, begin today and create your most magnificent dream life. I'll be right there with you. Let's do it together. So I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. I love sharing this with you. If this message touched you in any way, share it. Also, go to agapespiritualcenter.com, click on the calendar, plug into my daily meditations or my daily talks that you can get. Plug into meditation every morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Plug into one of our classes that are coming up. Always got classes going on. That's the way we go deep. Also, sign up for my Daily Thought and newsletter. Weekly newsletter, Daily Thought. And while you're there, why not? Go to the Giving tab. Make a donation. If you're benefiting from this message, please return the energy in a form of a gift. In doing so, we're able to continue to bring this message to greater and greater and greater numbers of people. And if we do that together, we can empower ourselves, empower and support each other, and then we can change the world. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're loving. Know that you are loved.